A lot of people ask me why I'm a teacher. I'm so passionate about what I do because it's like, if I don't do nothing else in this world, I just want one or two kids to understand it. It's just like, I come from East Cleveland, Ohio, and I went and saw the world on my own terms. I wasn't forced in the military to do it. I actually decided to do this on my own terms, and I made it.
What you do to me, between me and you, I feel a chemistry. I won't let no one come and take your place, 'cause the love you give, it can't be replaced.
So hi y'all.
Hello.
So this is something different I'm trying to do. I realized that I have some pretty dope people around me in my family and friends. So why not, bring them along and chit chat. Let me introduce y'all to my cousin, Sharina. I mean, if you're in the classroom, Miss Knowlton to you, okay? If you're watching this, but I'll let her explain, but I just wanted her to give us some insight because she has taught out of the country. So she is going to give us a little background on her, and then I'm going to ask her some questions.
My name is Sharina. So I have had the opportunity to travel overseas, travel abroad, and teach for 2 years. And I taught in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, which was absolutely amazing. So I was there from 2017 to 2019. A lot of people like Abu Dhabi, Dubai, okay? So Dubai was like an hour and 20 minutes away. It was absolutely one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. It was literally on the fly. It was nothing that I had ever projected to do in my life, ever. Especially that country, it was never like a plan of my or something on my bucket list to check off. To visit, yes, but to actually live and teach there, no. So it's a big difference. It is. So how it all started was, it was really simple. One day I was literally teaching in Georgia. Shout out to Clayton County, Georgia. Woo woo. I was teaching in Clayton County, Georgia, and I was like, okay, I was familiarized with one other person who taught overseas, who graduated from Alabama State as well. And I was like, okay, well, let me just see. I'm not so sure about teaching, in a Muslim country, but let me just, try and see what I can do. So I applied at this company. It's called Teach Away. Literally, Teach Away is one word. And I applied there, set up my login, set up a profile. It took me maybe, a day to consistently go through the process and do everything. It was simple. It was nothing that I had to pay for. It was totally free. And it was based out of Canada. And what they do is based off of your profile and some of the places that you select that you would like to teach, they kind of match you up with teaching vacancy. And so there was this international job fair. It was
I kind of remember that.
Yeah,
you flew to
San Francisco, California. Yeah, because I don't know, maybe you had to help me babysit Idris, or you had to do something.
I was probably on standby.
You was on standby, that's what it was.
Saying
that I was going over there. Yeah, so I flew in April of 2017. No, it was February of 2017. There was an international job fair in San Francisco, California, and Teach Away was hosting it. So it was literally people, representatives, principals, superintendents, Ministry of Education directors, and CEOs of different companies, everything from all over the world. And they came to San Francisco to this hotel. But the interview process, it is literally like a job fair. And you would just go and, kind of...
Like tables?
Yeah, it was tables set up, my bad. So yeah, it was definitely tables set up from different, it was school systems from Mexico, from Japan. I really wanted to go to Japan. Because you've been in Japan before, wasn't it?
I went to Korea.
Korea. Well, you've been over there. Yeah. Korea was there at the job fair, actually. But, oh my gosh, I wanted Japan so...
Okay, so you had no plans. You never was like, in my career, I want to teach abroad.
No.
It was just like, did you talk to somebody?
It was
or they
like,
gave you the info?
I knew somebody had did it. Like I said, somebody from Alabama State that I went to college with had did it before.
But you just like Googled
and okay. I don't know where this interview is gonna be played at, but listen, I'm gonna be transparent and real. Can I be real?
Yeah.
She be embarrassed. Listen, it was when Trump got in office. It was when Trump got in office. I was like, I'm the hell out of here. Yes, I did. That's what actually happened. Like, Trump got in office. It was November when I applied for Teachaway. I was like, I'm out of this joint for 4 years. I'm like, I'm gonna be gone. This man is about to run the country down. Yeah, that's actually what I say. That wasn't my season. That wasn't my time. I was kind of devastated because I left that job fair and I did not have like an offer from anyone. And so I was just like, okay, well, I can say I did. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I walked away. So that was in February. And then 2 months later, now mind you, my profile is still up on Teachaway, but I'm not serious. At this point, I'm like, whatever. And literally 2 months later, in April, it was spring break for us for Clayton County Public Schools, and I got a call, and the Teachaway representative was like, "Hey, the Ministry of Education from the UAE wants to have a live interview with you," and I was like, "Okay, cool." And I'm like, UAE, I'm like Googling it because I'm like, what the hell?
Right.
What country is that? Right. Yeah, so I went to North Carolina. I had the interview, and it was on Skype at the time because, Zoom and all that stuff wasn't popping in 2017 like it is now virtually. But so we did the Skype interview. I was so nervous because they were just like, make sure your tattoos are not showing. Make sure I had a piercing in my nose. Make sure your piercing is not showing. Make sure, it's like,
because one thing, when you think about over there, you like the women got to be covered from head to toe. So would they be judging or they?
And I think that's what it was. So my Canadian representative, she was just kind of giving me a heads up on how to ace the interview. Like, you have to dress appropriately. Like, you have to sell yourself, but you have to dress appropriately where it won't be a conflict with their culture and their values. So having a lot of tattoos, display, colorful hair, anything like that. Yes, it would be deemed unprofessional, but it would definitely be like, a conflict of interest with their culture and their values, because
over there is like
they value
culture is
at the top.
Real, like, yeah.
Their religion, their culture, their ethics, that supersedes any professionalism, different things that they have going on over there. So, needless to say, I actually got the interview, did really well. They hired me. About 3 days later, I got a phone call saying that I was hired, and they want to move forward. I was so super excited because when I actually went there, that's when we found out that we were like cream of the crop. So they don't choose everybody in their interview process. So I got the phone call back a couple of days later. They offered me the position, and it, I just started preparation. It did not hit me until I left August 17th. So when I flew out of Atlanta August 17th, it did not hit me that I'm like so far away from family and I won't be coming back for like 4 months. I was like, and I think that's when I cried. You have this adrenaline because it's something new. You're getting ready for it. It's like everybody is telling you it's going to be a great opportunity, and this is amazing. You're doing things that a lot of people haven't done or only dreamt of doing before. And then you get there and you like, what the hell? Is this so like to get back on the plane, go home? Like, you know what I mean?
All right. So I was gonna ask, like, okay, so if any for anyone wondering, would there be any financial assistance provided beforehand, like to help you like with your plane ticket?
That is so good. That's a good question. So, because I'm all about my coins and my money, that's a good question. So, financial assistance, what they did pay for. So first of all, teaching abroad, teaching in the UAE, I taught under the Ministry of Education for the UAE, and they actually did take care of my flight as well as my son's flight. And they put us in a hotel until we actually got our own place, which was like only 14 days, and we had to hurry up and get a place. Okay. I will say this, if you are going to choose to teach abroad or to move abroad for any reason, and you get the preliminary contract, I would definitely make sure that it's mapped out exactly what you have to pay for, because they told us tax-free, and as soon as you hear tax-free and you're an American, you're like, oh, sign me up.
Right.
But tax-free does not include transportation from home to work. Tax-free does not include, like, you know, your bills. Like, I still had to pay my bills. Like, they didn't take it. They took care of, like, housing, like the initial rent, but I still had to pay for bills and different things. So it's some things that it was just not actually clear on, that I wish that I would have known in advance.
You have lodging, hotel for a couple of weeks until you find
your own flat.
Now, do they give you like
they give you a budget. Okay. So we had a budget of what we could not go over in a month for spending on our flat, in which pretty much all of us just kind of stayed in the same area just to be on the safe side. And then we had to pay for a rental car. They do not help you with that, and most of us needed rental cars because taxis started to get expensive, and when you paying for that every single day, and that's another thing. It's just like, people know you are, when they found out you're American, it's just like some people will try to take advantage.
They know you have no other choice
but to do it, so they try to take advantage of you. You know, different things like that. Like, even something as simple like FaceTime. FaceTime was not available on UAE Apple phones.
Yeah, girl, we would have to do like 3 parts to this.
I know, right?
It was like talking to somebody in jail because she couldn't have. Could you even get on Facebook?
No, I didn't. Like Facebook Messenger, none of that. A VPN. I had to get a VPN, and then sometimes that didn't work because they would catch it and they would tap into it and they would like block it. But they blocked FaceTime. They blocked Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger. It was that's why I got T-Mobile service. Remember, you were with me when I switched from Sprint. When I Sprint and T-Mobile was together. But we literally, when I came home for Christmas, the first thing I did, I don't even think I was like, we gotta go get me a T-Mobile phone right now, because T-Mobile network works great in the UAE. No other American network will sustain a FaceTime call. And it was like, so just imagine going through that and you can't talk to your loved ones. It's already
them,
right?
Because we did
Skype 12-hour minute.
Yeah, then you have to
Skype. Then they blocked Skype. I was in there with Skype. Then they blocked Skype. They blocked what else was it? Not Group Me. What is that? What's that?
I was downloading so many apps. I was just like,
I had them Marco Polo.
Everybody download this week.
Yeah,
everybody download. By the time I get used,
it was like they blocked it. Oh my god!
Marco Polo was like, what? We gotta talk in the phone.
It was, and it was like, so just imagine the mental toll that is taken on a person that's doing that. You admire yourself for, you know, taking this risk and taking a leap of faith and doing it, but it's just like, you go to this country and you find out certain things that was not written in the guidebook, you know, and then you second guess everything about what you just did, because it's just like, hey, had I known I cannot talk to my child or my husband or my wife or my cousin when I wanted to, I would have thought twice about, coming here, had I known they block everything. I had so many VPNs on my devices that it was just at this point, I think I was paying like $30 worth of VPNs just to try to get something.
Tell them what VPN is.
What VPN is?
Like, in case somebody...
So VPN is like, okay, so when you, it's like a kind of offline network where it's like, it's not tracked by the authorities so much,
it's
so
like
to speak.
Like a trap phone.
It is pretty much, but it has a wristband where you can actually do more things, like anything that's blocked. So they block Skype, but I was able to purchase a VPN prior to coming to the UAE that was already on my device. So I would have to turn my VPN on my phone, and then I'm able to Skype at this point. So I'm not sure the technical term for VPN. I don't even know what the letters stand for.
That's something people should know, because I remember seeing people on, like, I remember when you first left, trying to keep in contact with you, make sure you're good. Because sometimes it'll be a week before we hear from her again, because they freaking snatched communication from us. So I would see some people on like Facebook or whatever saying, oh, like, I want to go overseas and live life and teach over there. And I'm almost like, talk to my cousin.
Wait before you decide, right?
Like, you think it's all glitter and gold,
right? And it has its pros and cons.
You have no choice but to conform to their rules.
Okay, so that's another thing. Let's talk about the American mentality. I did not think
that was like boot camp.
It really was though. I did not think I had an American mentality, but us Americans, we oh my goodness, yes we are, and brats, very bratty and privileged. Yeah. All of us, every American that I met over there at some point in time showed their Americanism, like when we got there or whatever. It was a lot of humbling that happened for me. Yeah. I had the most humbling experience that I've ever experienced in my life, because things that will be so quick to be like, hold on, I've been sitting in this office for an hour and you took her over me. It was just like, they're like, okay.
That's something too, being a woman of
color.
And
then talking about being a woman of color.
It was almost like class.
It's a class system. It is. It's a class system. People, they try to sweep it under the rug. I haven't seen
anybody talk about this on their videos.
No, and a lot of people try to sweep it under the rug. Like, oh my gosh, I'm not just going to reveal everything. I'm going to keep it 100 because I want people to understand what they're getting into and what they're signing up for. But it's almost like a class system. So, and we were paid that way. Actually, Americans, British, and Canadians were paid more than South Africans.
I hate to interject, but we was like each other diary at that point. When she told me there was a lady over there who she didn't even have a degree teaching and was making more just because she was from the UAE.
Yep, that part.
So they hold their people
and that's another thing I admire about them. They take care of their country. They take care of their local and native people, unlike Americans. You know how like in America you got this race and this race and this race. Emiratis, they take care of their local people, and then they take care of Pakistanians, all of those type of people. But they will make more money than us, and with no degree, because they're Emirati, which is something admirable, because it's like, Americans, we should be doing that, but I guess it's a little bit unfair. It's definitely unfair.
They're just trying to get the minimum wage raised over here to livable wages.
Livable.
We are so behind on that.
Oh yeah, much behind. So being a black woman, this is like need to be like part 3.
Yeah, this need to be a segment on its own. Being black in the UAE.
Being black in the UAE. Learn so much, and it's like I realized that I was so small minded, and I had that American mentality, and it was like I'm so grateful for my experience overseas because it just opened the world up to me, and I'm like, the world is really mine. Like anything I put my mind to do, I can do it, and
Right.
I just want to show other people the route. It's very simple. It's not hard. You don't have to be top of your class to teach abroad, and I had that misconception. I was just like,
some people don't know, or they think that it's like unachievable, or just don't know how to get started.
Just don't even know how to get started. And it's like, you just got to get started. You got to start somewhere. And it's like I was saying, I'm teaching privilege. These kids are rich. They have a silver spoon in their mouth. They come from money. They don't have to learn.
One thing about over there because I think over there, like maybe like with the Asian culture, like they're high on education. Like over there, she was just like, these kids are dumb. No offense. Or the education was not a priority. It was like the financial level or keeping the money in the family.
And that's just it. So, and they kept the money in the family by any means necessary.
It was like money. That's
line.
why they're like the richest country in the world, one of the richest. So their priority was like money.
It wasn't education as a priority. When we embed as American in the culture. And one thing I want to say, first of all, America is the only country where I see where some Americans think that going to college is a scam. I see it because it was like going over there and I'm talking to my friends and they like, college dead. I was like, yeah, like loans. They said, like, what?
We be indebted before we even get a job.
Oh my goodness gracious. I don't have not one friend from South Africa, from the UK, from Canada, where else? All my other friends from India. None of them are in debt, like student loan debt. That is just in America. And it's, Joe, I'm gonna need you to get it together, okay? For real, because this ain't a good look for us, okay?
Right.
When we go over there and it's like, and I tell them how the process go, and it was like, wait, you have to pay for your education? Yeah, y'all don't pay for
And we didn't know that.
No,
I didn't ever told us that.
So
I just found that out like a couple of years ago.
I was like really